It's in the events.
Okay.
Like
I know.
looking at Danielle, there's a whole bunch of different things coming up in January. A couple of classes, but
can't wait for
seven
January.
generational parenting is happening, and
you look super excited about it.
I am. It's my work. I tried to ignore it actually for a little while. I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do all these other things, and now I'm like, yes, actually, I do.
She's a great example of somebody who just recently took a deep dive into like what. Like she said, she was kind of potentially trying to pivot of her work a little bit. She did many years, right, at the Sonoma Academy and even more than that. But as the dean of students, and she worked with young people, and that's her specialty. I think it seems to be what lights you up. And she started working with grown-ups a lot and doing some coaching that way. And I feel like she just recently went, you can tell us a little bit more about this trip that you took, but she came back and she's like, all right, I'm not going to avoid it any longer. I meant to be working with the young peeps.
Yep. Yes. When I left Sonoma Academy, and so I've been a teacher and dean of students and parent facilitator for like 25 years. And I have my own child as well. And taking kids all over the world on vision quests and all kinds of far out stuff, built all kinds of programs. And 4 years ago, I was like, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. And I tried all these other things like Danielle's saying. And then I went to spend a week with a beloved teacher of mine this past I guess October, and I came home from that retreat and decided, yes, oh my God, I have to come back home all the way to what I do. I love it. And I told this teacher, I said, yeah, I wrote this book.
Ask her who the teacher is.
Yeah, who's the teacher?
Okay, it's Gabby Bernstein.
The Gabby Bernstein.
The Gabby Bernstein.
Yeah, Gabby Bernstein.
Yeah, I don't know.
Spirit junkie.
Okay.
Guru teacher. She's my spiritual teacher and rocks my world, and I love her. And during this week-long retreat with her that was super small, only about 80 other people, I had a chance to give a talk in front of Gabby, and then she workshops it for you and like tells you what sucked and what was good.
Oh, nice.
And, like, talk about sweating.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's a lot of pressure.
And I knew I had to do it. And I stood up there and I said that I'd been telling a lie for a little while. And now I'm ready to tell the truth. And I did. And I told her about 7 generational parenting. And she was like, where is this book? That I'm like, it's in my laptop. She's like, and she's 7.5 months pregnant. And so she said, TikTok, I'm about to have a baby.
Yeah.
I'd like to know about
Get it
this.
going.
And a bunch of other women were very encouraging. And so that's what I've been doing. I've been writing a lot about it and sharing it a lot on Facebook and Instagram and all the platforms.
And how's it going?
It's going really well. It gets a lot of traction. The class, I'm going to do another class on Zoom also, because I love, though my heart is in doing it in person with people, like actually like it can reach out and touch you. There's also potential to do it on Zoom. So I'm getting a little more comfortable doing it on Zoom, even though the technology, it's like,
I don't know Zoom. Zoom?
It's like Skype, but on steroids.
Oh, yeah, it's better. I've done, so I went through the same thing, right? I was doing a lot of coaching and facilitating in person, which is, again, like you, my favorite thing. Like I feel the energy in the room and it just makes me feel so good, which I think translates to the course, right? Yeah. But I started doing it online as well. And it definitely has a different feel, but it also feels good to make your work more accessible to more people. And, if you were to talk about it as a business platform, you could potentially make a lot of money. I think with online courses, you tend to make a little bit less than you would in person. But for me, it was worth it to be able to even get like that word out more. Yeah.
And well, my husband said, well, if you do it on Zoom and you're having to really like not, not be so nuanced with like getting the like micro emotions from the people that you're in the room with, but like you'll work on your content more because it'll be more about your content than about the natural flow of a conversation in like a live setting.
Yeah. Right.
So
that's a good point.
That's a good point.
That's a great point. Yeah. I never thought about it that way, but it's true. Yeah,
I just like the idea of long-term thinking, because having young kids, it's like when you have a child and they're born, it's all about like moment to moment. It's like the 4 S or 5 S's. How many S's are there?
I don't know about.
I don't know either.
That's the shushing, swaddling, other.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You're like that
You're
dad.
Oh, I'm that dad.
You're that dad who actually did the work.
But you're like in the you're just trying to get to the next day.
To the next moment.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Moment to moment. And so not thinking about, the long term, right?
Yeah, thinking about the long term, because it is about the long road ahead, and it's in the now, because you're doing the now and you're thinking about like what you just being intentional is so much about it. Like, okay, what's down there? Like, what kind of relationship do I want with my son or daughter? And how can I do stuff today in the now? It helped me remember to have more patience with my daughter Ariana in the moment when I was doing like actually the parenting with her. Now that she's 25, she is at that age where she reflects on a lot of things of like, I did this and you should have done this a little bit differently.
Right.
Like,
okay. 25 was miserable. Sorry.
It's the long road. It's fun though to think about like these little people that you're going to send out into the world.
I have
I just want them to be able to like have a roof and eat. And
the thing is, here's what I want to say about that.
Human beings.
The thing is, someday you want them off your payroll. Ariana is off my payroll.
Yay, nice.
That's the long game.
Don't look too happy.
Payroll. She's off the payroll. Okay, so this is a little bit off, not really off topic, but it's definitely a little bit, of a skew from the 7 generational parenting, because I have a 12, almost 13-year-old who is amazing and who's driving me bonkers right about now. But I do, as we all do, I have these thoughts about how am I setting her up for success as a human, right? And trying to be a good example of what that looks like. And so her father and I divorced when she was very young. She was 4. And for many years, I'm going to use this in quotes.
Oh, you're doing that finger thing.
Yes, the finger quote.
Yes.
Protected her from a lot of the life challenges that I had as a woman, as a mother, because I didn't want her to see me hurting when we divorced, or as we've talked about before, I've had more than one divorce. So I protected her from the hurt, and I cried behind the closed doors, and I was just always very strong. And I think that has value, because I think as a young person, and she's very intuitive, and you don't want to put that pressure on them to feel like they have to take care of you emotionally. However, at this age, and this is something that has just kind of newly come onto my radar, I'm a single mom. I work a lot, and I'm really trying hard also to figure out what's that next chapter for me, kind of in the partnership side of my life. So as a single person, you go and you date, right? And you don't introduce everybody you go out with to your kids because you know where that's, you never know where that's going to go, right?
Right. I have friends that have really agonized over that. Like, when do they, guy I work with, Ray, if you're listening, who really didn't
you just
know.
Got called out,
I know.
Ray.
I just called out Ray. Well, he's well past that now at this point. But like, when do you introduce and that kind of thing?
Well, here's the thing is like, for me, I have obviously not been very successful in the relationship side of things. And I think it's because when I was in those single periods of my life, I didn't explore a lot. When I found somebody that I was interested in, I kind of just dove in. Whether it was right or wrong is irrelevant. It was singular, right? Now I'm in this place where I'm thinking, I find many people interesting. I don't have a lot of opportunity to be serious with somebody, but I date different people. And I'm realizing that I don't want to give too much information, but whatever, me, I'm like TMI anyway.
Nobody's listening.
I guess the point to my child is that I'm starting to find value in her understanding that finding that one person that you want to be your partner is a process, and it takes meeting several people and having, even if it's a micro experience with that person, to figure out if that's the person that you're going to spend your life with. So because she's almost 13 and she's starting to be interested in boys, and at that age, it's just like, they quote, have a boyfriend that they go to lunch with or whatever. And like 2 weeks later, they're like, I'm done. And I feel like they should understand that that's a normal thing. It's Bobby
told me that you want to break up.
That humans have to explore relationships to decide whether or not those relationships are the right ones for them. And if I protect her, she doesn't have to see all the gory detail, right? But I don't know that it's a bad thing that she knows that maybe if I'm seeing somebody for 6 months or something and then it doesn't work out and she says, how come we haven't seen that person for a while? I can say, well, we were not on the same page. Or, I can say he wanted this and I wasn't ready, or I wanted this and he wasn't ready, or whatever that is.
Yeah.
And for a while I agonized over that. And now I'm starting to come to terms with this idea. Like to a certain degree, I want her to see that there is a process that I'm going through and that I'm in my past 30s and it happens to adults as well. And that she can,
it's human.
There's
it's
no
life.
pressure for her to have to find the perfect person at a particular time. And she can actually just explore life. And so I went from many years of just like completely putting a wall up and she never saw anything about my personal life till now I'm just kind of slowly but surely kind of integrating her into that conversation a little bit. And I think she's appreciating that.
Yeah, she's has a different level of awareness. Her brain is at a different stage of development, obviously, than when she was super young. And, that would have been really confusing. And the kids do take on so much of our emotional stuff when they see it, because they're so integrated and intertwined with us that, like, if mommy's sad or daddy's sad, like, they want to fix it, or they want to be sad with that parent as well. And then when your daughter's 12 or 13, like, slowly having new conversations with her that, like, bring her up to the level of maturity that she's kind of also heading towards and that she's in. Like, it's that dance of, like, what she should know about what she is still, like, a more adult business, but sharing with kids that we try different relationships. There's different people that come across our path, I think is healthy, because there's so much messaging from our culture that says, like, you meet somebody and voila, like, there's every movie, pick every movie.
It's like 13 and she's the perfect, age for an arranged marriage.
You gotta like
you could expand your kingdom.
Yes, expand your kingdom and try on, and and saying, and making sure that, like you're saying, like, the things that you tell her are age appropriate. You're not going to tell her intimate details of why somebody didn't work, but, like, we just had different ideas.
Was really bad.
Yeah, we did not, like, he didn't go to heaven. It was not enough. It wasn't enough oral. We just had different, like, ideas about what it means to be in partnership.
Right. Well, also, it sounds like it gives her some
that should be one of the show notes.
Exactly.
This is the quote that you give your kid. We have different ideas about what it means to be in partnership.
Code. The code.
Sex sucked.
But it sounds like it gives her tools, too, to where she doesn't set her expectations too high and also isn't going to get too low either, you know?
And look, here's the thing also. There's plenty of marriages out there that for a lot, like, go on and on and on and on and on, and the people are effing miserable. So great. So your parents are married and miserable. How awesome.
Yeah.
They were married. Congratulations. Like, the kids know that they were freaking miserable.
I don't want her to get into a marriage that's miserable. I'm not advocating, like, just try it, get married, and get divorced several times.
No, yeah, there you go.
But you're trying, like,
at the same time, it's
get
like,
to know people.
It's get to know somebody, right?
Different
and, like,
people bring out different aspects in our own personality, and so, like, what parts come out with different people.
And y'all, to the point, you learn a little bit about yourself, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm learning a lot about myself right now.
Oh,
that's
boy.
Awesome. I like learning about myself too.
I have no idea who I am.
That's why you're here.
I don't want to know.
Oh, come on. You're awesome.
No. Why do I feel like we're talking about Frozen?
Frozen.
I have a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old, so we've been watching Frozen.
Yeah, you have.
I haven't even seen that movie.
That's awesome. Good for you.
Neither have I.
Really?
Oh my God, that's great.
To be the parenting expert.
Wait,
that's awesome.
Well, you haven't seen it because your daughter's so much older. I haven't seen it because I just don't watch movies, as we determined.
Right.
Or let's actually, listeners,
for all the people that don't,
for all of these episodes in which I've named many, many movies that I haven't seen that have shaped generations.
Oh, I know. E.T. She hasn't seen E.T.
Oh, for real?
I know, for real.
For our generation.
I know. Caddyshack. I never saw Star Wars. I never saw.
Yeah, Star Wars,
like
that's
Goonies,
a tough one to swallow.
I never saw, all of us old
So
people.
in Frozen,
please tell us about this cartoon that you're watching.
One of the female leads, because it's about sisters. It's, Disney seems to focus
Elsa
on being
somebody else.
And Anna.
Oh, okay.
Right? And Anna, yes. Character. But Anna meets a guy and immediately they're going to run off and get married. So
That's me.
The first day, right? And so it's kind of that's, I'm totally Disney moving right now. But that's part of her journey is learning that. And then this other, the real guy who's like